how are you? How's everyone doing? Let's start with the news about what's happening around the world. It's Friday, the last Friday of May. Maya. And well, goodbye to May. The list of scientists who've become inconvenient is very long. It's not just 12 scientists who have disappeared, but for decades it's been known that there is actually for centuries, Now with all this history and getting into these topics and analyzing how similar events have happened, it turns out this goes way back. When there were wars, there were also very advanced developments on one side or the other. And they would invent like a cannon or a type of sword or a type, and then they would try to steal those craftsmen or creative armorers who managed to develop a certain technique. They would take them away, promise, and give them everything except freedom, keeping them locked up because that technique was unique. In fact, many times when they had islands, they would take them to fortified islands, and that's where they kept those valuable people. With these theories that have arisen because scientists have recently disappeared in the United States, and by recently, we're not talking about a month or two, we're talking about at least 5 years back. More or less between 2021 and 2022, up to now 12 scientists have disappeared. There have been more than that. But the 12 that stand out are because they're related to or involved with technology that's being developed in a very disruptive way. Technology that could change the world. In medicine or weapons technology, or even related to the UFO topic, by the way. But it also has to do with aerospace technology. So there are several cases and there are several lists. The first theory is that the scientists are, according to these theories, some I think could apply to one group of scientists, others could apply to another. I don't think they're all in the same situation, right? But there are some that even at the end of the list of, let's say, theories, I think that's the one that matches the most and it's the strangest of all. So right now, let's go.
But the best thing is,
let's start at the beginning. No, sorry, at the end. Well, goodbye, my friend. Let's start looking at this. Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you very much for being here with us. That was all. Greetings to Patrita Francisco Arce. Hello there. It's just that it's Friday. Well, the first theory says that these disappearances are basically about inconvenient people. Scientists who have discovered that they have technology, but it bothers a country or it bothers an industry. These are industries competing against each other, and they know that the answer that could destroy their business, their country, or their business is in that scientist's mind, right? Many times these are breakthroughs, and you say, you know that scientist many times because you have spies or for whatever reason, but you know that what he has, what he is developing is going to end, let's say, billion-dollar industries and many jobs. And well, it's all in his mind. They justify accidents, but they don't justify these kinds of things. The theory holds that these scientists who are working on sensitive projects, especially related to war, electronic warfare, radars, defense, possibly disappear under strange circumstances. Normally, those who are involved in this are not retired people, but people who are still active, meaning they are developing or creating something at that moment. If they are already retired, usually nothing happens to this type of scientist unless they know they still have something there that they haven't finished, something left incomplete, right? Another theory is that these scientists are, let's say, being taken by other powers.
Exactly. This happened a lot during World War II, both on the side of the United States and Nazi Germany, and then later during the Cold War by the USSR. Another theory, the most extreme one, is that some scientists have disappeared because they were secretly taken by programs run by rival powers, right? Secret programs. And there are many examples, like we've seen with Operation Paperclip by the United States and recruitment. The Soviets recruiting German experts, in fact, right before the end of World War II, basically the USSR and the United States fought over the scientists.
Well, they took all the Germans they could. Obviously, that was the case.
Anyone who could give them an advantage that the other didn't have, right?
Exactly. Now, well, Another theory is that scientists, when they're developing something, when they're making progress, especially scientists who are, for example, looking for unique things that are almost like discoveries, right? Like, for example, free energy, some disease like cancer, things like that. I don't know what you think. Suddenly, they come across something. They find something that's so innovative, so extremely important, like what happened with one of the scientists. And we mentioned that she claimed to have the idea of how to achieve anti-gravity, right? I mean, well, it's something...
She and her dad kept working on it.
She and her dad? Exactly. They're super crazy.
New propulsion technologies, advanced materials, or even evidence related to unusual things. Like, for example, the topic of aliens, of UFOs. Or topics that have to do with discoveries that are simply unique, right? That there's no way to repeat them.
That's often said when they discover the possibility of curing cancer. For example, sometimes companies remove the scientists or buy the discovery and make it disappear or don't keep it.
They keep it, right? They patent it. They keep it. The point is, well, how many patents were there before the electric car boom started? It seems like suddenly it's as if they gave permission, right? Like, okay, now it's time for electric cars. And suddenly they started inventing them, but it's not like they couldn't make them before. Yes, it's true that better batteries were developed, that better chips were developed, but it always seemed like the development in that area was very limited. And when you look back and videos come up and documentary footage, let's say, that shows how there were cars from the very beginning. When cars first started, there were cars that worked in much more efficient ways than the ones with engines, except they were displaced by the ones with engines. They're the ones that didn't go away, they kept advancing, and that industry was very protected in that sense. The theory holds that around, well, figures like Tesla himself, people who were already at a very advanced and innovative level, but so innovative that they become kind of dangerous in handling, and books by them, by Tesla, that even today can only be seen by one person at a time without bringing any kind of camera or anything. I mean, they're there. Exactly. There are certain books that only people who are allowed to consult them have to do so from memory. They look at them, review them, and then leave. But they can't even take photos or anything like that. To this day, that's what we did. It's really crazy. So characters now, well, that doesn't happen to him, but they do push him aside. They start leaving him out. He really was a very eccentric character and all that, but they don't really push him aside, just a little bit. Some things he tried to develop never happened because supposedly they were too dangerous. Some people believe they were dangerous for certain industries that were just starting out, like how suddenly the electric car industry was created, right? And it turns out that maybe a company comes along and says, hey, but I have electric cars, which are, let's say there's some kind of breakthrough, so disruptive that it's 20 times more efficient than the others. Well, obviously nobody will want the other cars except for those with that new technology. And that's the issue right now. The competition is at a really intense level, so intense that any country or any company that suddenly develops too much and makes a leap like what happened with the iPhone. I mean, with the iPhone, brands like Nokia disappeared. Well, I mean, it's not that they vanished completely, but basically their phones are almost like they don't exist anymore, right? Oh, I mean, the brand is still there, the company, but they just didn't make it, right? BlackBerry and several other companies couldn't reach the level of, smartphones, right? But that happened with the boom that came from the iPhone, basically.
Exactly. The iPhone pushed everyone to develop, for example, the on-screen keyboard, because before that, it didn't exist.
Exactly. And well, that's one of the ideas, right? That scientists simply discovered something they shouldn't have, something that shouldn't be known, or they developed something that was just too disruptive. And then there's another point.
The other is the secret scientific protection program, very similar to what would be witness protection, which is used a lot in the United States. That's where we know it best, right? Because of the movies. But it's a less known theory that maybe some scientists don't actually disappear, but are relocated. Well, because they're working on a super important ultra secret project, they change their identity and are removed from public life to protect them, right? Exactly. And well, this theory, it's known to involve nuclear experts in countries like Iran, Russia, and China. I mean, they really use it a lot.
Of course, I mean, they make them disappear, but they don't stop existing or die. It's not like that. They're still there. They just want to make sure no one takes them or goes after them.
To protect them, for example, in the case of Iran, well, to protect them from Israel.
Well, then, yes. So the point is that in theory, there would be scientific protection programs, right? That's very interesting. There are also scientists who would be involved in completely secret matters. Done is scientists linked to aerospace programs to research on anomalous phenomena like the topic of UFOs. Scientists who are related, for example, to quantum topics and also to communications. You wouldn't want a scientist who is in charge of, let's say, the security of communications to end up on the enemy's side, right? So those kinds of scientists are either very well protected or closely monitored, or even, well, they might enter a program like this one for protected people, so to speak. But these are people who, even after they retire, are still vital or very important. Many of them keep working their whole lives. But there are still ties, let's say, with those people. Cases involving military personnel, especially military scientists and military engineers, people deeply involved in the field. And some of them are the ones who have spread the most information about the UFO topic, or who have publicized these disruptive technologies that sounded like science fiction, that just seemed like something that wasn't possible. And there we are, seeing how these people who used to only appear in reports and mystery documentaries are now, in some way, they are being vindicated with everything that's happening in the United States Congress with these hearings. Because what those hearings have shown is that practically everything they were saying is what's now being revealed. So they simply got ahead of this. And what happened to them? Well, some of them did face threats. They suffered, let's say, very strong campaigns against them. Some of them, for example, started to get involved, or they started to get them into trouble at such a level that they would lose credibility. They weren't destroyed, but their credibility was shot down. And that's also a key issue for a scientist. If a scientist loses credibility, it's especially hard to continue at higher levels. And then there's probably the strangest theory of all, which is the theory of the Einstein project. And it claims that there is a kind of, let's say, like Illuminati, so to speak, right? Well, actually, the Illuminati were just that. Yes, thank you. They were scientists or people who were very, very learned, very advanced, who said, hey, there's too much censorship at that time because of religion and things like that. There's too much censorship that doesn't let us advance in science. And basically, they wanted to share knowledge. Later on, that group went in a different direction. But the idea is that the Einstein project, which is a term used generically because it's not really the Einstein project itself, but rather that there would be similar projects like that. Like the Illuminati, for example, or the Einstein project. Groups that would be recruiting scientists. Let's say, like Wakanda, not Wakanda forever, according to this theory. Or it makes it seem a lot like science fiction, right? But it claims that there is a group of elite scientists who are recruited for projects so secret that they operate outside of public knowledge, and they're made to disappear, so to speak. And this coincides with several cases we've talked about, because we have to remember that many of these disappearances were very strange. For example, they left all their information, all their cell phones, their wallets, they left everything as if it was just them. As if they knew exactly. One of them even left and came back because of his watch, since watches now have GPS, all that stuff. They're smart. Exactly. He took off his smart watch and had already left, even leaving his keys behind. Who does that? Who just tosses their keys somewhere? Nobody, right? And this guy even came back and also left what he had already taken, and he threw his smart watch through the mailbox. So characters like that. Yeah, no, that one he's crazy. The one who died too, in a Tesla. Remember? I mean, he's the one they took 3 days to identify, right? ASEAN. I mean, this scientist, by the way, focused on space nuclear reactors for long-duration space flights. Imagine that person. To me, he's key. If you said, let's suppose that you know what you already know. Let's say we knew that the planet's days are numbered. What I mean is that we know this. I can't say it, but time is running out here. And we have to create an island, a base. Let's figure out where to go. But he would be the key. I mean, he would be at least one of the key characters. Because his reactors, his engines would be made precisely to travel in space and survive out there. Not to try to survive. Over there, what this project basically says, or what they say about this project, is that anything exotic, let's say too advanced, would be recruited by groups that want to develop things at a level that not even a government can be aware of. I mean, that are above even the governments. No, we're getting really crazy here. But it would be the theory that they're in bases, underground bases, not army bases, but bases that go beyond that. Hidden laboratories.
But like companies.
They could be like companies, kind of military at the same time.
No.
What Martin does and things like that, right? They do advanced artificial intelligence research on highly advanced genetic topics. I mean, genetic engineering, exotic physics, not quantum physics, and all that kind of stuff. How many scientists disappear, and what characteristics do they have when it's someone in an administrative role, when it's someone who is important, but you wonder how important really? I mean, you might say it's possibly a normal disappearance. I mean, just no. But when it's someone whose work was truly unique, highly valued, well, that's when I find it really strange, right? It's pretty strange to me. At least it gives you the feeling that there's something more going on, right? And with evidence, not just because you thought of it, but because there's proof these things are strange now. And if it weren't because people started connecting the dots, this wouldn't even be investigated. We have to remember that there wasn't an investigator. I mean, each case was quote unquote investigated separately. And usually they would say, look, well, that's it. He committed suicide. This happened to him. He disappeared. Well, we have to find him. But they issue alerts and everyone looks for a few days and then they stop searching. So when all this information comes out, they say, hey, we need to join forces. We need to investigate everything together to see what connections there are. They still keep insisting that some of them aren't connected to each other. I mean, in the cases, right? But apparently some of them are. And that's, well, super interesting. If something ever gets revealed someday, we'll talk about it. But it's really strange that these individuals disappear and don't even leave a trace, right? That they just straight up disappear, right?
Exactly, right? Especially those who leave everything behind. Their phone wallet, like the one who went back to leave his phone and watch. I mean, in what world who would ever do something like that? Yeah, that's the first thing you check you have with you, basically.
Totally. I mean, the Tesla guy, the one I was talking about, because I remember some of it, the Tesla guy who supposedly crashes and the whole thing catches fire. And it takes them 3 days to identify him. He left and also left everything behind. I mean, he left his phone, his wallet, etc. If someone drives off in a car, that's basically all technology like the Teslas. Tesla.
Yes, because the phone connects. That's how it opens.
Yes, the phone connects for music. For that. I mean, honestly, from the start, that part doesn't even make sense. The fact that it took so many days to identify him also seems extraordinary to me. Well, his family was asking for an investigation into the matter, and it seems like not much was really investigated. I mean, that case wasn't even being counted among the missing scientists, but because of how unusual it was, I think the family or someone pressured for this case to be considered, since it's unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Quickly, some interesting weekend notes. Check this out. An app is being made or has already been created. Speaking of what we're talking about right now, it's not an end-of-the-world app. Not an app where... What happens is that when I was talking about the end-of-the-world topic, in quotes, right? Of course. But let's say yes, when... I mean, yes, what happens when, for example, or when the pandemic happened, for example, right? Suddenly, well, a lot of billionaires with private jets just grabbed their bags, got on the plane, and went to their islands, went to shelters. They had to see how things were, to watch everything from afar, right? The same thing happened. We were reading the timeline of a pandemic from 2 centuries ago. There's a really good timeline. I don't remember if it was the bubonic plague, one of those. But anyway, we read one. While we were in the pandemic, we were a bit miserable there. At that time, there wasn't really much of anywhere to go. Then I remember we bought the book at Gandhi. Obviously, Gandhi took advantage and said, look, this book is really great. It's very interesting because it was a chronology of the era. And in that chronology, the man who wrote all this, who, by the way, is the same one who does the Jules Verne one. Yes, the same writer. No, not Verne.
Which one was it? The story about the man stranded on the island. What was his name?
Robinson Crusoe, right? Julio, this one. Yes, because there was a character named Friday. I think that's why I made the connection. Do you remember?
I remember the character.
Yes, Jules Verne. But no, it's Friday. Yes, it's Friday. Jules Verne is the author. So then what this author does is stay there. He knew there were risks because he had money. You know, he had a rich family and everything. They urge him, saying, come on, let's go. Why stay here during the pandemic when people are dying? And he says, no, I'm going to stay. But he also wanted to step away from that whole life for a bit. You know, he wanted to get inspired. So he stays to see that reality and documents everything. And one of the first things the book documents is how the rich escape. Like all the rich people say, well, see you later. We're leaving.
It's called a Journal of the Plague Year.
A journal of the plague year from 1722.
But it's just like COVID.
Please, read it and you'll understand a lot about human behavior and how we repeat the same things. Do you remember all those people who come out and there's always a comment like that? Like, oh, it's the pandemic, right? Do you remember that? Well, there were a lot of people like that. Back then, in 1722, people were dying. People were having a really hard time. And they would go out and say, it was all a lie. This is all fake or whatever. I mean, since that time, human beings have been repeating the same situations, the same mistakes over and over again. And well, really, please read the highly recommended books. And well, in all this matter, they're creating an app that aims to identify when the planes of the rich have strange behaviors. And then,
We've seen it in movies. I think they're the first to get a ticket out.
Exactly. And suddenly you start seeing a lot of planes that are flying around that are, what's it called, circling. I don't have the exact information. The programmer Kaylee MacDonald has created an early warning system for the apocalypse. An early warning system. Just look at that. What this website does is track 11,000 private jets belonging to really powerful people under the premise that the ultra-rich, yes, they'll be the first to flee in a global catastrophe as indicated by artificial intelligence and ADS-B radio signals. The site measures air activity from 1 to 5 at different levels. If suddenly a group of rich people starts doing strange things, it says, look, raise the alert level to 2. No, something serious happened. This 4,050% are traveling right now. What's going on? No, because everyone is visiting these islands or this side of the world and they're laughing at how nerdy it is. Its creator, what he clarifies, is that this network he has created is a thermometer of the elite's fear. And he also says, well, that this is a work of art, like a kind of scientific detector, so to speak, of behavior. I mean, yeah.
Says he's already tested it and it works. He says that during the times when tensions began in the Middle East and immediately before, he saw activity that showed abrupt changes. I mean, of course, those who received it, they're always going to get the message about what's going to happen first. They fled. And well, this project has obviously sparked a lot of interest because many believe that the movements of the economic elite can serve as a direct indicator of something that is happening when the rest of us are in conflict. There's uncertainty.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, there it is, right? I remember this guy who used to check where almost...
Oh, yeah, until he took it away from me. He kept going with several, right?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Sí, hay varios. All right, let's move on to other important matters. A quick summary of how things are in the world. Let's get into it. This case, check this out. Look, let me see if I can put it up here on the screen. So this is a dog, one of those dogs that detects drugs, right?
Yes.
And then on May 7th in a recording of dog handler teams.
No, that day the dog graduated.
Exactly. From the Chilean Navy, one of the dogs trained in drug detection went straight for the pocket of the Navy Vice Admiral, to the confusion of those present. There it is. No.
He was carrying some.
What was he carrying there?
He was carrying something, maybe some medicine, right? Not necessarily.
No, and dogs, those people usually carry drugs because they like to get high. No. It's true. It's not true. They actually bring those kinds of substances to train the dogs. Well, yeah. Well,
It could be.
It could be.
He was wrong.
Well, I don't know. Who knows? But he's really crazy. I mean, the dogs there, I don't know. No, I don't think they're wrong, right? But anyway, if not, then he failed, right? But I'd have to investigate. Do you agree? I mean, that's what they do. And it turns out that
It was a test. It was a recording to see if he really knew.
it's just that he was the best in the class.
No.
no, it's pretty intriguing. It's also good because this image grabs your attention, right? That we talked about a while ago, where you can see generals, right, from the United States. Francis Magno. What's this man's name?
This one.
Francisco.
Francis Magno, exactly the one from the Southern Command, and there was also a general and other high-ranking military officials from Cuba there.
Roberto Sotolongo, who is the supply chief of staff of Cuba. What's going on? What is this meeting for? Obviously, we don't know for sure because they haven't released it, but it seems like everything is moving toward a change in Cuba.
There it is. Things are happening there.
What's happening?
Things are happening. Obviously, potential changes are coming, so pay attention to that situations inside Cuba. And well, let's also move on to other images. An image is shown, and honestly, it's very interesting. This is in the ocean. I imagine it's the Persian Gulf somewhere over there, where a wreckage of the MQ-9 or an alleged MQ-9 is being observed. There we can't quite reach it. There it is. Those are supposedly remains of the MQ-9. You can see pieces of gray plastic there, which is usually the color these devices have. We have to remember that the MQ-9 is one of the most powerful drones that the United States has. It's quite large, so the small size of the pieces seems strange to me. But anyway, the Iranian armed forces claim in these images that a hostile drone, as they say, was shot down, a supposed MQ-9. It could also be another type of drone, right? But they say they shot them down on Kesem Island. And that's this island, which has had a lot of activity lately, right?
Exactly. Yesterday, I noticed there were explosions.
Really?
Actually, well, Pepe reported it here. There's been a lot of activity in that area.
Exactly right. And actually, well, this image has been... Let's put the map here, because this is what's being reported. Look, let's see if we can put it here.
What's going on there?
Tom has issued a warning to sailors and aviators operating in the north of the Musadam Peninsula of Oman in the Strait of Hormuz, saying that there are dangerous, imminent military operations targeting Iranian naval mines. It's a prior notice issued by the UKMTO, which is the United Kingdom's organization. So, well, we're going to see some movement. And we have to remember that Iran has been releasing these mines, which some say even they aren't very sure about. Yes, they're not very sure. Where are they all? Because, well, obviously the sea can move them.
Of course.
Well, that's the thing. That's the issue. I think it's one of the most interesting things happening in the world. But look at this, what's going on?
With that, well, this is a video from a startup, an artificial intelligence company that's asking people to let them clean their house for free. I'm going to send them my phone number and my address to see if they come, because the idea is to start training domestic robots. Obviously, they need to learn.
The person looks human.
Yes, it looks human. They need to learn how to clean, how a house works. Because up until now, all they know is how to dance, and that's it. We hardly ever see them being useful.
They're not really kids.
They're kids. You welcome them with a...
Little camera. Exactly, with a little camera here and I guess some other devices, and they were recording all the movements so they could learn.
Exactly. That's a startup called Shift. It's in New York, and it's trying to collect video recordings of every step of the cleaning process. From scrubbing, cleaning the floor, washing windows and dishes. It has to learn, and this is the most complicated part. to learn all the different types of appliances we have, because one washing machine is not the same as another.
Well, yes. Yes, that's a good point there. I don't know. This kind of project is really intriguing, very interesting.
Guys, let them try.
Let's try. Let's see. Let's see what they achieve. But also, well, it shows a meteor falling or something.
I think it's trash, right?
It's junk, right?
Yeah, it looks like space junk.
Where did that happen?
This is in Ecuador. Ecuador in an area called Manabi.
Great. Well, apparently what seems to be space debris may have fallen over there. We'll be keeping an eye out to see what gets reported about that. Also, well, today this image is being shown.
Hey, today Putin really got angry.
He was really angry.
I think so. Well, usually it's someone who loses their composure, yes.
And now I really lost it.
Which one flew in there?
Can you hear me? No. I don't even understand what this is about. Right before I came in, I heard that a drone flew into Romania. I don't know what kind of drone. So tell me, what information is being reported in the media?
Well, it's a discussion he's having with some journalists over there in Russia about the drone that fell in Romania, right? He insists that, well, yes, he suddenly found out when they told him, hey, a drone fell in Romania. And he said, what drone? What are you talking about? Supposedly, it was ours.
Come on, that's a joke. Do we even have drones?
Did we attack you yesterday? Do we have drones? Are we at war? Are we not at war?
We're not at war. We only do special operations. That's it. Space operations, right? No, the point is that he absolutely denies it. That it's not true. And yes, and it makes me laugh because, the journalist insists, right? Oh, yes, and that's rare to see. And then?
It must be no, but there aren't any foreign journalists anymore.
Yeah, no, not right now. Except when they do the annual events where sometimes they do allow it. But at that moment, well, things got intense. And he said, no, we have to investigate. And we have to...
It's a fake accident.
Yes. He says that, well, even if they have evidence, well, it's not going to be real. Anyway, the point is, you can't beat him.
No.
No, what I insisted on was that they send it to him, right? That they send it to the Kremlin so they can investigate and conduct an objective investigation. Of course, an investigation.
They should just send him the Bugasphere.
Yes, I know.
So he can check it. Let's see, right?
Let's see what he says. Maybe he'll say no.
Well, let's move on to other matters. Let's move on to other interesting topics as well. Hey, well, today we wrap up the week and basically the month too. Because we were expecting something. Might happen, right? In fact, there were some kind of strange things going on, but oil prices stayed down. Everything seemed to calm down, and even though both Iran and the United States are pushing a very warlike narrative, in the end, nothing really happened, right? And things are still relatively calm.
Right, exactly. Both of them.
For the World Cup, right?
Before the World Cup, and honestly, both of them are just stalling. Both of them are waiting to see who gives in first. And while we ended the week with the United States warning that they will attack the ships if they see Iranians, if they see them laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Well, we already saw 2 attacks like that last Friday, and another similar attack happened during the week as well. So honestly, this war is getting really boring now. Really, of course.
Yeah, because honestly, most of the time they're just making threats.
And they don't do anything.
They never fix anything. Everything remains unchanged. That's what I mean.
They fixed it. Well, we could move on to another topic, but we can't move on to another topic.
Yeah, I know. If they don't report it, then move on to another topic, because honestly, we need to talk about other topics, other matters. Let's go to the comments while we check out some of the things that are happening in the world. There was also an attack, another attack on the command. Basically, the Southern Command attacked another one of these boats, according to what General Francis Donovan said. The Air Force, or Joint Task Force, launched an attack in the Eastern Pacific Ocean, according to reports. This was against, as they say, a designated terrorist organization, right? That's the issue. There were apparently 3 alleged traffickers. And well, that's how this issue is being announced, right? Well,
Yep. 3 people were attacked and 1 died.
yes, it's a serious matter. Let's move on to the comments you're reading.
Panterita makes me laugh. It's just that Panterita says, I'm going to marry the robot Astrid. People really complain about everything. You see, really, yes. Well, yes, it does everything, right? The thing is that it does everything.
He says, I mean, but it's not that one. No, I was being sent the one that is.
Boy, no, not the young guy. Greetings to Leyenda, who says, I already saw Will Smith in iRobot and it didn't end well. Yes, I know, it didn't end well at all.
What about the other one over there? No, the one, what's it called? The one, yes, there, right? Yes.
Yes, it's really pretty. But humans are really mean. It says, I saw that it's true. Like, they start planting something in your house and they've already marked what you have at home. Do you think they're going to come rob you? Greetings to Rula, Mexico. How are you doing too?
Greetings, Maria Elena. How have you been? It says, how crazy. The little dog gets a 10 for doing his job well. The man, it's a shame they exposed him with his magic powders. Yeah, exactly. He was really exposed. You acted just like her. Yes. It's having it. It is a.
I remembered the dog from the attack that happened at the press conference. Do you remember Trump? Yes. Well, the dog, one of the dogs there, identified the guy before he attacked twice. Just because the police officer wasn't paying attention. Because he stood up.
He asked if this one had weapons.
And no, he doesn't. Greetings, Francisco Arce. How are you?
How are you, Francisco Walter Osorio? It's great to see you. How is everyone over there, Walter? Greetings. Oh, have you noticed anything different about the weather this year, up until now? Greetings to Alfonso Galoso. How have you been? And to Barkif Baker, too. Bakerfield, California. Huge shout out to Alfonso. What's new? How's it going over there?
How's life treating you?
Big Sega, huge shout outs to Panterita and Rublos. Who else is there?
Also to, well, greetings to Walter. Greetings, Walter. What's up, Walter? Greetings to Edilcio Sendeño, to Rublo MX. I'm here too. Alejandra Gomez says, I'm here now. What's up? Greetings also to, it says for us, to Breseca. Breseca says there are already a lot of scientists. Yes, and surely there will be more. But, well, those are the ones we know. The ones we... Greetings also to Rosalinda Moreno. How are you, Rosalinda?
What's up, Rosalinda? How are you?
Greetings. Thank you very much, Alejandra, for your comment. Greetings also to Jalala. How are you, Jalala? She says, hello, good evening, community. Leave a like. It's like saying thanks for the good vibes and well wishes. Thank you very much, Jalala.
Thanks a lot, Jalala. Greetings.
Greetings also to Well Panterita, Big Sega, Naido, who is always working hard every day, no matter how things are. Greetings to Leonardo. He says, Pepe, I don't know if you remember that on that island in The Simpsons where everyone who had developed some technology or discovered something disruptive was. I don't remember that one. I just don't remember. I remember the one that's like the island of Dr. Moreau, where they're mixed with animals. But I don't remember that island.
That's the one you're talking about.
I do remember. Yes, of course, me too.
Well, yes.
Yes, I'm saying it. Greetings to no.
I mean, I remember.
No, I know that you, because I mean, of course I remember too, but yes, I'm talking about it. Greetings also to someone, I forgot who it was here. How are you, Ofe? Greetings.
What's up, Wolf? How have you been?
Greetings to Maria Elena Onofre, who sends good evening wishes, hugs, and encouragement to the sick, and thanks for the information. Greetings, Maria Elena.
Thank you very much, Maria Elena. Big greetings. Also, many thanks for these memberships that Rublo has given away.
Thank you very much, Roblox.
Roblox, thank you so much for that support, and to the whole community. Well, those of you who received that membership, just know that it was thanks to Roblox that you're going to have a free month of membership, right? That's awesome. And well, I hope you all stay here for a long time, right? Omar, how have you been? Panterita, who else is here? Segel says Jackson is 70 years old.
Yes, well, yes.
She must be somebody in music.
No.
Yes.
Vic Segal says in just one day without internet, it would be chaos in the world, or since everything is connected, even the washing machines would break down. Yes. No, honestly. Well, when we've had to be without internet, once when a hurricane came, do you remember? It was like almost 2 days.
Yeah, it felt like a week to me.
Yeah, no, it was horrible, because you don't even know what to do. I mean, I don't know, you're just pacing like a caged lion.
Like if it's hot, for example, you don't even have a fan, right? And then there's another thing, the internet to connect. Just imagine us.
We had to do several broadcasts from the car.
From the car.
Yeah. And we would go somewhere that actually had electricity, because it wasn't just the internet. It was electricity too. There was nothing.
You had to charge the cell phones because, well, just imagine there wasn't anything. It was a good, very large part of Nuevo León. We'd drive on the highway, stop at a cafe, and check for places that were open.
Right? We would look around to see who had their lights on.
Who has their lights on, you would arrive. And it was full of people like us, who work online connected to their computers, and everyone had multiple power strips plugged in there, and it was packed. The cafe was crowded. Yes, really.
The International Day of United Nations Peacekeepers is observed. Almost 5,000 members of the Blue Helmets have lost their lives in that very heroic work.
Yes, tremendous. Thank you very much for that information. Nova's dad, Novak, I send you greetings all the way to California. To your family, obviously, as well. Walter says the following. Comment from Pepe. Very hot. No rain at all. Not for now. If it does reach us, we'll drown, says Walter. Hey, take care of yourselves a lot. Let's see how it goes. Luckily for you, it's not coming your way, since it's from the Gulf, right? So in theory, there shouldn't be so many phenomena on that side. There should theoretically be more from the Pacific. But let's see what happens, right? Victor, how have you been?
Greetings to
Greetings as well.
Saxo and Segandi, the one who runs the bookstore, are telling you this. She published a book called The Book of the End of the World. My son's story was selected. Oh, that's great. The Saxos...
That's great, Raul. It's available at Gandhi. You can buy it there.
Yes, The Book of the End of the World.
The Book of the End of the World.
I want to stay for 2 as a little story, not as a tale. Greetings to Guadalupe Salcedo. How are you?
How has Guadalupe been? Ariadna says Pepe Astrid is here in Southern California. The weather is very strange, says Ariadna. Thank you very much for the information, Ariadna. Greetings, greetings.
Greetings to Juan Carlos Sanchez. How are you, Juan Carlos?
What's up? Juan Carlos Rublos. Panterita de Vic says that they're going out talking among themselves, and it's very cold at night. And during the day, it's not as hot as before.
Years. Good weather, Maine. Yes, I know. It's similar here too, Adriana. It's Ariadna. It's a strange thing.
And here, by the way, we're watching the typhoon. Oh, what's it called? What's it called? Yagmi. Yagmi. Jagmi. Typhoon Jagmi will pass through northern Philippines before turning toward Japan. It's currently still in the Philippines, right? That's what this typhoon is expected to do. And it could become a major typhoon, right? It's a typhoon that could reach Category 5. Right now, it's not even a Category 1 typhoon yet. It's still just a storm. At this point, it already has a name. A tropical storm, so to speak. It will become a typhoon in a few days, right? We'll be watching.
You can tell, you can see it's going to be... Yes.
Greetings to Sol Garcia. How are you, Sol? And greetings, and it's paid for. I don't do it. International Everest Day is celebrated on May 29, 1953. This mountain was first conquered. The New Zealander Edmund Hillary and the Sherpa Tenzing Norgay were the first.
Hey, well, we're leaving now.
That's right. Let's go. We're leaving, guys. I'm almost hungry.
Today, yeah. Sure. Today really was a day. No, it's just that if someone tells me...
Yes.
What about you? We're already hungry, right? We haven't eaten in hours. Many hours. So, yeah, a lot of activity today. But, well, we have to eat too. We have to live.
Well, remember that we're on WhatsApp and Telegram. We send you notifications when we go live, and we're also on Facebook, X, and Insta.
We're not going with this. No, Beatriz Alvarez. Hi, Beatriz.
That was a great joke. The one about what happened to the girl you met. I left her. We had a lot in common, but that's good. No, if she stopped me, no, that's it. I'm done.
I don't think it was. This would be...
It's a matter of taste.
It's a matter of taste, exactly.
It's a matter of taste.
Vic, how are you? Ofe, little panther. Great, thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. I wish you could join us here for dinner, right? The teleportation machine doesn't exist yet, so we'll see each other tomorrow and actually spend more time together. Tomorrow is movie Saturday, and that's when we'll really get to talk. Yeah, have a little barbecue. That would be great. Some barbecue. That would be perfect, Vic. Take care.
So we can stream the barbecue and chat.
That would be great. A beer. We don't have barbecue. We don't have a grill. Right? When we want barbecue, then we have to buy it. All right, take care. Hope everyone's well.
See you later.
See you.
We interrupt your regular programming. Thank you for tuning into The Truth. This is live. The truth is intense, pure. The unusual is real. Here we analyze it. Global perspective. Don't miss out. Connect with the channel. PP live controlling the signal. Pepe and Astrid telling it like it is. Raw journalism. Respect is shown here. Turn on alerts. Don't lose track. Until next time. Yes, sir. We're taking attendance. Hey.